Hello, everybody.
Welcome,
Welcome.
everybody.
Um, Stan and Michael again. Uh, Before we start tonight's show, I want to give a little bit of a disclaimer out. Um, Tonight's topic is a touchy one. Um, I don't know if everybody's seen the post on Facebook, but it's Albert Fish, and we'll explain the whole Albert thing here in a little bit. Um, AKA the Boogeyman. Well, he got that from some pretty serious crimes and stuff that he's done.
Taking throws.
And but the the disclaimer is that Michael and I are going to be discussing these murders that this gentleman done, and some of them are pretty graphic that we're going to be describing. And this gentleman, and I hate calling him a gentleman, this monster, if you will, um, done this to children.
Yeah.
So just just be forewarned. If you have a problem with you know hearing about children being murdered and things of that nature, and some a little bit of graphic detail, then you may want to mute things when that comes up. And but otherwise, um, we're gonna move on with things. And uh, Michael, first off, how you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good.
Good, 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 good. Me too. Other than tired,
Yeah, I've been really tired lately.
yeah, and I worked 3 days, my normal thing, but it's been three of the hardest days. Uh, I don't know what happened, but it. Hey Charles, hey Big Ben,
Charles and a Big Ben.
Big Ben. I hope you're feeling better, brother.
I know that's right. Hope you get
Oh,
well soon.
absolutely. Um, so, Michael, what do you think about tonight's subject? I know it's you know, just like I do, you have kids, and so what do you think about this?
I really didn't know much about this person until you had mentioned it. And when I went to reading through and looking and watching some videos, I'm like, man, this guy's crazy. He's a sicko.
Yeah, he's
They
a sicko.
they should have put him under the jail a long time ago.
Yep, and we'll get to that too. I think that some of the how that transpired was pretty cool on law enforcement side. So, but
You think
um,
some of the things when he was earlier in his childhood, you know you could you could see the things that's coming out of him, back in them days.
yeah,
Somebody should have done something. Like today's days, everybody says you see something, say something.
see something, say it right.
Nobody
Yeah.
say nothing with this guy.
No, they were. Well, of course, he had them snowballed. He had, because of his appearance, his demeanor. He didn't appear to be a serial killer, if you will.
Yep.
So he just kind of won the hearts of some of these people, and that just kind of makes me think back. How the hell can some of these people back then be so naive? But
Right.
but so for everybody that's just joining in, you don't know if you don't know our topic, we are talking about Howard Fish, um, aka the Boogeyman,
Hamilton Howard Fish.
Hamilton Howard Fish,
Right.
right? Um, aka the Boogeyman, um, the Gray Man, also the Vampire of Brooklyn,
Right.
and the something of Wisteria. What was
Uh,
that? What was the one of
one
Wisteria?
second, I saw it on here.
Well, the Moon Maniac is one of them, and the Werewolf of Wisteria.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and then of course the Moon Maniac, and something I didn't understand when I read this: ham and eggs.
Hmm.
Why the hell they calling him ham and eggs? I mean, um, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna do a little brief summary of some of this stuff, but when we get going in, we're gonna be profiling this monster, if you will. So, and Michael, I'm gonna let you kind of lead in from his childhood. You kind of had a little more time to research than I did. Um, but this guy, uh, if there ever was a boogeyman, he has to be it. You know, the whole boogeyman hiding under the bed type thing. And um, this guy was pure evil with a smile
Since he was little.
since he was little. So tell us a little bit about his growing up and his childhood and things like that, and we'll lead into some of the stuff as he got into an adult older man type thing.
Well, his father passed away when he was 5 years old, and he went to an orphanage. And while he was at the orphanage, everybody would pick on him all the time, and he'd end up getting beat at the orphanage. They would paddle him at the orphanage, and he got a kick out of it. You know, it's hard to come out and say it, but he got an erections from it. It was pleasure to him. And as he got older, you know, even after the people would whoop him, the people that the kids there, they would make fun of him and they would beat on him, and that just pleasured him even more. And as he was growing up, he got to looking into cannibalism. He got to religious mania, I think is what they
Yeah,
called it.
yeah,
He thought God was. He thought the Apostle John was talking to him
right.
and was trying to have him castrate little kids, so the little kids didn't have to deal with it when they got older. And they said that he has only admitted to 3 murders, but he's been connected with over 10 murders.
Right.
But he's only, like I said, he's only said, I've only done 3. And one of them was an 8-year-old girl named Grace. That's the main one that got him. And we'll get
Yeah.
into that in a little while. There was one or two. There's a little boy. I can't remember how old he was right offhand. It was a cop's son in Staten Island.
Yep.
He killed a little boy. He, I think, gave him some raisins. And the little boys he was playing with were like, when the dad came, he's like, oh, well, he was over there with the gray man. So
Right.
the gray man come about. He worked at Staten Island, like I said, and no, he worked at another police precinct. And when they finally was, doing investigation, they moved him to Staten Island so he could take care, and be on the team to investigate, so he could find out what happened to his son. And they finally found the little boy. I think it was 3 Boy Scouts that found him in a field, and he had his pants. There was nothing waist down gone. Everything was gone waist down. But he had suspenders, and the suspenders were wrapped around his throat so tight that it just looked like his skin. He had just choked him to death with it.
Yeah. So, so this guy started out young,
Right.
with mental issues, and he enjoyed the pain, and of course, he as you said, he kind of got arousal because of the
Right.
pain and stuff like that. So ultimately, him creating these murders with these kids gave him that same type of arousal,
Right.
and that's pretty sick, um, but now I had read um, that he had claimed he had children in every state.
Yep. That's what he said.
and boasted of over 100 victims. He was officially linked to 3 primary murders.
Right.
And as you mentioned, Grace Budd
Yep.
was the first one.
An 8-year-old.
And right. And now this man conned his way into that family. All right. And he actually called himself Edward Budd. And so, that family association there, and he convinced the parents that be able to take this little girl to a birthday party.
It was supposedly his niece's birthday party.
Right. So, um, he was an older man, and he looked all kind and like he wouldn't hurt anybody and stuff like that. Of course, first, um, I'm not going to let my children go with anybody that I don't know. I don't care how much they talk.
So that's
But
how much times have changed from back then to now. Back then, they weren't really, scared of nothing like that, really. I mean, I'm sure they had a little bit of doubts, but back in that time, it's the early 30s, 20s or something like
20s,
that. And
yeah.
Yeah,
Late 1928 is when Grace, her murder took place.
nobody thought about things like today. Today you don't even want to let them out of your yard.
Exactly. Well, a lot of times you don't even want to let them out of the house.
Right.
I've seen people fence in their yard, build big decks and all kinds of stuff to, if the kids can play there, and I get it, because it's worse now than it was back then. And you see how easily this guy conned his way into people, to people's homes and stuff. But he took the little girl, um, supposedly to a birthday party, but instead he took her to an abandoned house in Westchester County, known
They
as.
asked him. They asked him
But
the address, and he gave them my address. It was the wrong address, and they didn't realize it. They didn't realize it didn't go past like 100, I think it was.
yeah,
So they were like, okay, we know where she'll be at, so we know where to look for her.
now he took her there, killed her, and that's where his cannibalizing of these children started.
I think it started before that.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this was the first one that I had read that he actually cannibalized her. Um, so him cutting this little girl up, and these people getting this girl is at a birthday party. How um, how can that? I mean, how would that affect the parents? After this, after the fact, don't you know that the parents were just beside themselves? I mean, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. They felt horrible that they let their little girl go,
Right.
and she went through what she went through.
Now, the the other victim that I was reading was Billy Gaffney. Now
Right.
that was a year prior.
That was the little boy that was the cop's son.
He was 4 years old, and he was snatched from a hallway in Brooklyn, and that's where somebody said they seen a gray man.
Right.
Okay, so um, this was pretty graphic stuff, horrific, and most of this disturbing confessions. And I'm reading a little bit of from the FBI archives. That that was, I mean, the dude really really messed him up, and do you remember exactly what he done to that boy, Michael?
The little boy.
The cops.
Okay, I'm looking for that real quick.
It was hideous. Um,
I've got it wrote down. I'm trying to find it again.
it
Let's see. It was Francis McDorn. Oh, I think that's what it was. Naked from the waist down with the suspenders, and
right. And I
I don't.
think
I don't think that he really. I think he might have molested that kid. I don't think he um, tried to eat him or anything on that one.
right.
One weird thing is he had a wife that his mother arranged, and they had 6 kids. The wife finally left for another man. The kids always said that he's never done anything, physically, like that to his kids. But he had a nail-studded paddle that he kept, and he would have his kids whip him with that paddle all the time, just so he could get his rocks off on it.
That's just sick.
He tried to get 2 little boys, probably within around 12. He had them in his apartment, and they were in there wrestling, and he was in the kitchen. While they were wrestling, they fell on the floor, and they looked under his bed, and there was a axe, and there was a hacksaw, and some of his little toy things he had, and they were like, nope, time to get out of here. And they ran out screaming, knocked him out of the way, and ran out the door. That was one of the botches he had. And then he had another botch attempt with a little girl. He was standing outside the farm or something like that, and he kept trying to get the little girl to come, and then the mom come out and chased him off. So then he went and later on and hid in the barn, and the dad caught him and chased him off. So that was another attempt, to try to get a kid that didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there was others.
Oh yeah. Now I finally kind of found some information. Now let's go back here to the Bud, Grace Bud. Okay, that actually, I mean, it was one of the later ones, but it's one of the ones that he was actually caught for. But June 3rd, 1928, she was 10 years old, and that's she was in Manhattan, the Westchester, New York area. All right. It took him a bit to get the parents to let him take the child to the birthday party. Okay. Um, he had to calculate all of his moves in order to get this pulled off. So, but once he got once he won them over, he took the girl, and of course we said to a birthday party, supposedly. But he took her to an abandoned house, um, like a cottage type thing, in the woods in Westchester County, New York. Um, well, the setup of the whole thing was he told Grace to wait outside and pick flowers while he went inside to get ready. All right. So he went to the second floor, stripped completely naked, and then called her up. When she saw him and screamed, he choked her to death.
Yep.
All right. Evidence that was found by the police. Um, in 1934, the bones. 6 years later, after Fish confessed, Detective William King led a team to the site and found over 50 bone fragments, including fingers and legs, near the cottage. So he admitted to taking a cleaver and cutting her up,
Yep.
and a meat cleaver. But the police, while they were investigating all this, they actually found 5 more victims or 5 more people that they couldn't account for.
Right.
And so, and that was one of the things that kind of um, started their forensic background, if you will, their build of Howard Fish, which Albert Fish. Um, Now, Yetta Abramowitz, this one was actually in 1927. So when they stacked these in their report, it kind of newest to oldest. So we're kind of going in a little bit different direction. Um, the 12-year-old girl strangled on the Bronx rooftop. Witnesses saw a gray man trying to lure girls into the hallway that same day. Okay, hence the gray man thing. Um, Mary Ellen O'Connor, that was 1932. A 16-year-old whose body was found in the woods near a house Fish had been hired to paint in Queens. So he's starting to pick that up, and instead of involving other people like he did with Grace and things like that, he's starting to pick them off. And so there was a whole bunch of theories at this point by police.
Right.
And, you know, during his confession, though, whenever the police did actually catch him, Fish claimed he targeted African American and immigrant children because he believed the police of that era wouldn't care as much or would have investigated that as thoroughly.
Right.
So, right. So,
Now there was somebody else that for the Bud murder. Somebody else was arrested for that.
yeah,
A Charles Edmund Pope or Edward Pope on September the 5th, 1930. He spent 108 days in jail before he was found not guilty on December 22nd, 1930.
yeah. Well, evidently had some sort of tie somewhere, they thought. But, um, Francis McDonald, of course, was the one that was killed with the suspenders.
Right.
And then Billy Gaffney he beat him to death and then cannibalized him. All right, ate him. You cooked him up like beef stew. It literally said that he chopped him up, added him to carrots and onions and potatoes, and ate him.
And parts of his body they roasted. He roasted in the oven.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, imagine that. That sick son of a bitch. I mean,
And years later, he wrote a letter. There was an anonymous letter sent to Grace's mother, and it's a long letter. But if you read it, he told them exactly what he did to that girl
yeah,
and what he did to these other kids. And he literally told the mother, that I chopped her up. He said, I ate her. It took me 9 days to eat her. He said, but I did not have sex with her, and she did die a virgin.
yeah, he used a meat cleaver and a saw.
Yep.
I mean, could you imagine that? And I'm a butcher. I know what goes into cutting meat up and stuff like that. That's just terrible. And you know, eating a child,
Yeah.
eating anybody is a ridiculous thing. Then of course, he blamed this on a Christian or what was it? He said he thought God wanted him to do that.
Right.
And so people bringing God into this stuff, or these monsters, thinks it made it right, and that's how they convince themselves to keep doing this. And so when they finally, and the letter you're talking about is how they finally caught him.
Yep. Because it was a envelopes somewhere where he had lived. They had people left some envelopes that they stole, and he had used one of them, and it had certain letters on it. The one he had used had the letters NYPCBA on the envelope, which stood for the New York Private Chauffeurs. I can't remember how to say that, but something started with a B association. I can't read my own writing tonight.
Okay,
I had chicken scratch.
I got it.
But that's what caused him to get caught, because somebody had told him about it, and he had left it, I think, at their house. And when they went back to another house where he was supposed to have been at, where the chauffeur was at, but it wasn't the right place. But they got it figured out exactly who it was, and the old lady said, "Yeah, he's right over there."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Now, some of this stuff, of course, you mentioned the self-torture earlier, um, which is definitely, a massive Christ is the thing that people that do that. And, it had an x-ray that they done, and when he was arrested, police took x-rays of his pelvic region. They found 29 sewing needles
yep.
embedded deep in his flesh.
So he could get the pleasure.
Yeah.
One time when he was in Sing Sing prison, I think it was the early time, he had went for embezzlement early,
Yeah.
in his years, and he would take a chicken bone and he made it real sharp, and he went to jabbing himself with it, and they were thinking, oh, he's trying to kill himself. So they got rid of the chicken bone. He wasn't trying to kill himself. He was trying to pleasure himself.
Yeah. It's a hell of some pleasure, isn't it? And some of the names, and I wanted to kind of touch on some of the names that he was called. The Moon Maniac. Fish claimed his urges were tied to the full moon, often referring to himself as the Moon Maniac or the Werewolf of Wisteria. So that's how that came about. All right. So, he's blamed God. He's blaming the moon. Um,
Yeah.
so, they tried to claim he was insane at the trial. And Dr. Frederick Wortham, he was a famous psychiatrist. He testified that Fish was was most profoundly deranged person he had ever met, exhibiting nearly every known sexual perversion, over 18 distinct paraphilias. Okay, so he is so perverted
Mm-hmm.
sexually. I mean, and of course, at when they reach that point, man, there's no telling what they'll do to get their, as you called it earlier, their rocks off.
Right.
Um,
But it was
so
it wasn't women. It was mostly men and little kids.
yeah, and so, but the verdict, when they came down with the verdict, despite the clear evidence of psychosis, the jury found him sane. Under the law at the time, the Emnagen rule, if he knew the difference between legal right and wrong, he was sane. And
Yep.
then, of course, he was sentenced to death.
Electric
Should
chair.
have. Yeah, he should have. And the execution, January 16th, 1936. Fish was 66 years old. Um, when he went to the electric chair in Sing Sing, the short circuit myth, okay? A common urban legend says needles in his bodies caused the electric chair to short circuit. While there was a technical delay, it likely wasn't the needles, but the story adds to his boogeyman uh,
Yeah.
mythos. And he reportedly helped the executioner strap him in, saying, "I don't even know why I'm here." And so he he also helped adjust the things on his legs and stuff. So this man got his rocks off, killing these kids and hurting himself like with a chicken bone and putting needles in him and stuff like that. So that was a major orgasm with the electric chair, right?
Right.
I mean, a major thing. So the man, I think he really wanted to die.
Yeah, they
You know,
do. He was
and
ready.
yeah, he was ready and he needed to go. And so when people talk about the boogeyman, so now everybody can reference to, if the kid says, "I see the boogeyman under my bed," y'all better listen because they might. And just on a paranormal uh, thing, what if his spirit came back?
That's a good possibility.
So how much havoc could he cause as a spirit um, on this world? Really,
It,
us
it,
being paranormal investigators. I mean, we've run into some really weird and a few negative spirits,
yep.
and of course, we would have had to have been in that area or one of the main places that he enjoyed his kill and stuff like that. He might actually, if he could, might actually go back to there because he enjoyed doing that crap.
Yeah.
And so I would be interested to see if anyone at all had ever found a location where he had done some of his murders and investigated that area. That would be killer, really. Well, kind
Yeah,
of
something
killer.
playing on my head.
Oh, it's the boogeyman, right?
Boogeyman playing with my head up here.
Um, but so there's been other people in history that have eaten people, and we will be talking about a few of those coming up soon. Um, but eating kids,
Mm.
I mean, it's pretty sick.
Sick just to eat anybody like that.
Yeah. Cannibalism, that's you know, that's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy stuff. Um, so it's a good thing that this man is dead and gone. Of course, he was 66 then. He'd be like a million years old now. He would have died of some sort of natural
All
cause if he
right.
hadn't got executed. But you take a spirit like that, and that's exactly what he had about him was a negative spirit, and he didn't know how to handle things.
Yeah.
I think he's just an old man, and he was abused when he was a kid, and he did what most abusers do when they grow up. They abuse their kids, or you know their their surroundings and things of that nature. Um, so I think that having people like that in this world is pretty sick thing, and you know, if there was any way we could clear this world of that type of spirit, that would be great. You know, even Charles Manson wasn't that sick.
Right. And like I said earlier, see something, say something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what we would like to get out to everybody. See something, say something. It doesn't matter. You know, if you're wrong, oh well, you're wrong. But at least someone has taken notice, contacted the police, the authority, whatever the case may be. Um, you know, and it doesn't have to just be kids.
Right.
You know, and
Excuse me.
and y'all, it's not just men, it's women, it's people in general. You know, there's no gender there because all of them do it. You
A lot of
know,
crazy people in the world.
yeah, exactly. And so there again, if you see somebody um, doing things that they hadn't ought to be, acting in suspicious ways, um, call the cops, and the cops will get, we'll get to the end of it. Um, Now, in a lot of cases, cops get called in, cops investigate, and the cops can only do so much because they're there for the letter of the law. All right. If there's not evidence at that time, then there's not a whole lot they can do until something happens. And it's sad, until something happens. And a lot of times when that something that happens ends up being a death or some sort of negative thing that had happened. And so, but back then, when he was around, when Fish was around, you know, the police done a good job, but they're limited in their resources back then. So, if he'd have done that now, I wonder, with our technology of now, he wouldn't
He'd
have got
been in
away with
jail
it.
early.
Right. Now, the problem with that is if he'd have been now and put in prison, he'd have been there 35 years before he was executed.
Yep.
You know, what was he there? A year in prison in Sing Sing before he was executed?
Yeah, I think it was about a year.
Yeah. And so
And
that was a good,
that was a second stint there.
right. And, that was a good thing that, he didn't hang out very long. And heaven forbid if he had come up with a way to escape. How many other? I mean, it's not like he would have ran per se, other than ran right back to doing what he was doing.
Yep.
I mean, he just, in a lot of ways, couldn't help himself.
Another murder that he did was in 1910. He had a relationship with a disabled man named Thomas Kedden. They took him to a place and had sadomasochistic sex with him for multiple days. And Fish was the one, doing everything. And he had him tied up, and he was just torturing this fella. And instead of killing him, he was wanting to kill him, and he decided not to kill him, just outright kill him. But he chopped off half his penis and left him there so he could die that way. Excuse me.
Well, alrighty.
Like I said, he was a disabled fella. The man, I think he was kind of mentally disabled too, and he couldn't really do nothing. He didn't know what to do.
That was, again, that would be on the same lines as, preying on a child. If the guy was had mental issues, that type of way. Because
And
a
he
lot
would
of
have,
time, go
go
ahead.
ahead. He would have been in his 40s at that time.
Fish would have.
Yeah.
Well, he was relatively a young man. So wow, that so he cut half of the guy's penis off. How did he kill him? I mean,
I
I
think he
know
bled
he.
out.
Oh, is that what? Okay, I know
Yeah,
I was gonna say that. That's an area you can bleed out from real quick.
yeah.
Um,
I think he felt sorry for him and didn't want to just outright, you know, chop him up and eat him, I guess.
man, that's it. Subjects like this, and whenever I mentioned it to you, um, Teresa has a book out um, that she wrote a few years back about this very subject, and I had been thinking about this, and I'm like, okay, how is people gonna welcome this topic? But of course, you and I had already decided when we put this together that smoke covers everything, and we wasn't limiting ourselves. We were going to bring it all to light if we possibly can, and this is one of the ones that people should know about because there are still people in this world like that.
Right. And it's really
And
not a name that I hadn't heard of it, and I don't know. It's just a name that you don't really hear nothing about. And then when you hear about it, you start reading on it, and you're like, why ain't we heard anything about this?
mhm. Well, a lot of times because pertaining to children, it's kind of kept hush hush. And of course, nowadays, anything pertaining to children, there's no information released and that type of thing. Even the heinous crimes and stuff that needs to be told about, they don't release that information anyway. You
Right.
know, respectively to the family and stuff like that. There's some things that you just don't need to know, and but this case, people need to know that that was one and done that. Think about, and of course, population is way more now than it was then.
Right.
Think about the ones that's loose now, and what when children go missing. And didn't we have one here in the Wiregrass here
Yep.
recently?
Sure did.
And that was heinous in its own right, and it turned out to be a parent.
Yep.
And so stop and think about it. Really, really stop and think about it. What kind of similarities does this case and this man and these victims have with some now? Kind of like when we were talking about Heaven's Gate. They still have a website.
Yep.
They still follow. They're still recruiting people. They're still taking donations and stuff like that. Whoa! So that is still ongoing now, and I think that's freaky. Okay,
Yeah.
so how can, of course, you hear about copycat murders and things of that nature. Who's to say that somebody couldn't take a book or watch a video or something and just start copycatting that? And if somebody started doing this, that would be just insane.
Right. Because you got to remember that all happened back in the, early 1900s
Yeah.
and a little before that. You know, people are crazy. These days they got a lot more, different ways they can do things.
Oh yeah.
They have more at hand, and they're probably going to get caught faster because of more technology today. But
Right.
still, I think a lot can happen in just a few minutes.
Right. And like they might get caught faster, but how much damage can they do before they
Exactly.
do? So yeah, I mean, all the people that's listening out there, um, please take this to heart that this very well could happen now. Um, we're not trying to scare people, but yes, we are. We want you to take note. You know,
Stay aware.
when things are going on, even no matter how innocent, and this is another thing that shows he went into these people's home, convinced them that he was innocent and the whole situation was innocent, and so on and so forth, and took this girl supposedly to a party and then went and cut her up.
Scanned the whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just something that everybody needs to pay attention to. And Charles says there's a lot of missing children now that no one knows what happened to them.
All right.
This could be happening now. No one, absolutely, Charles. See, that's exactly what I'm getting at. Um, you hear about human trafficking, uh, and that's exactly what could be. These people could, of course, these children are being sold on this human tracking trafficking. These people are being sold for sex and drugs, and now get this, um, these cartels and other organizations, if you will, are taking people in and testing. They're testing purity of drugs, what certain types of drugs that they're making that will do to a person. Um, they're
Guinea
zombie.
pigs.
Yeah, they're zombifying things. Um, so yeah, Charles is absolutely right. All these children going missing and women, and you even have men that's going missing that's being trafficked as well. And so, it's sorry, I'm about to knock my coffee off. But so everybody just needs to pay attention. And again, if you see something strange, it probably is. So you definitely need to report it. Don't you
Be
think?
aware of your surroundings.
Absolutely. And but you know, we have other shows that we're doing with things, and I not sure too much if we'll be carrying this show any further than this. I don't know. It's dealing with children. Of course, I have a big soft heart. I love kids, and of course, I have a lot. 6 kids, 17 grandchildren, 2 great grands, and so it's kind of messes away. And my wife, I know she's not watching the show.
Right.
Um, her sensitivity to things, and of course, she wrote that book, and she knows what this topic is. And we actually kind of just touched on some of the things. This guy done some heinous crimes. Okay, Charles says just a couple years ago, there was a young girl found on the border who had been sexually assaulted, and it was said it was a cartel member who had it done to it. So, absolutely,
Wouldn't doubt it.
not at all. Um, those folks are just as crazy as Albert Fish. They're just mentally deranged.
There was a girl on TikTok doing a live one day, and she was talking bad about the cartel. And I think she was in Texas. I can't remember exactly for sure. And while she was on live, they busted in and just took her out right there on live.
Yeah.
That was a couple years back.
Well, everybody knows, well, most everybody knows that there are things like the cartel. There's in every nationality. There's groups that does those things, and so you even have the Russian mob and so on and so forth, and these people are being taken and sold for sex trafficking and like we were talking about guinea pigs. Uh, they were just sold into slavery, being people's slaves, and it's a crying shame, and I don't know how we could control it all. We could stop it all.
Won't
We
never
can't.
happen.
No, absolutely will never happen. And of course, everybody that prays need to pray for this world and all those missing children and things like that. Um, because it's going to get worse before it gets any better.
You take one crazy one out, and one or two different ones come up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're waiting in line. And, you know, touching on fish tonight has kind of, made me think some of the things whenever I was doing security, some of the things that I had seen. Um, that, some of those things I may have should have said something. Um, didn't have the opportunity at that moment. I did later. I did say things. And of course, that was later. And I don't know what ultimately happened. But if people see something, say something, like you said, Michael. I mean, that's big message for tonight. See something, say something. If you
No matter what it is.
right, something that's real trivial can turn into to something big. And Charles said, "Look how many children have been found here in the states working in places that were sold to them by individuals." Right,
True.
very true. Um, and that's sad. It really is. And we live in the best countries in the world. Most opportunity, despite what anybody says, this still is the best country in the world.
Right.
And we have stuff like that going on here. And so imagine going to a third world country or one of these other places. Just think about it. It wouldn't be a healthy thing. And but if you do go somewhere on the other, overseas or wherever you go, and you see something weird, find somebody to say something.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I could give you some pointers about in other countries, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But um, those places like that are different. But here in the U.S., you see something, say something, call somebody, you know. And I do know I have a bunch of buddies. When they see something, they gonna say something. They gonna say something to the people that's doing it. They're not just gonna let it go and run to the telephone and call. They may call after the fact,
Yeah.
but they're gonna move on it. They're gonna do something. And my hat's off to them. Those are my buddies, and I would do the same thing. You know, um, because you wait an hour for someone to show up, everything could be over by then.
Exactly.
And and I'm not telling anybody else to act that way. It's just something that my friends do and I do. Um, so you figure out what's safe for you and you do that. Um, but I'm just not going to stand back and let somebody, things like that happen.
Mm.
And not going to let people be abused and stuff like that in front of me. It's just not going to happen. And, one day I might have a problem or something, but I'm still not going to regret it.
Yeah.
Not helping. I wasn't brought up that way. And if I had been around Albert Fish and found out he was doing that, they would have never had to have executed him.
Mm.
It wouldn't have.
Not in this time of day.
Nope. Um, no.
I'd have been one of them fathers. I'll do something so I can go to jail, and I want you to put me in the same place he's at.
That's right. Please lock me up in the same building anyway, so I can get to him because yeah, he's yeah, he just people like that aren't worth um the execution, not worth the bullet, the gunpowder and the bullet, that
Right.
type of thing.
And these
And then,
days, inmates don't put up with that kind of stuff anyway. They'll take care of it themselves. They find out.
yeah, I mean that's pretty amazing. Now, my daughter, she's in that type of she works for the prison system, and I bet there's some circumstances. Of course, they don't talk, and they shouldn't. You know, it's kind of like
Snitches get stitches.
stitches. What happens in Rome stays in Rome, and
Yeah.
that's Rome. So but I worry about her every day. I'm not gonna lie, but I think she's doing the right thing, and I won't. I I don't normally tell her mother that because her mother is scared to death,
Yep.
and but um, when you can keep one of those people like that off the street, and there's ways of doing that, then they've done an excellent job. I'd whole heap rather pay $15 a day or something like that, whatever it is for a prisoner, and keep that sucker locked up so he doesn't hurt anybody else.
Yep.
And you got people complaining about the money. The money. Well, I don't want to pay the money to keep these locked up. Well,
Well, they can't get rid of every one of them that's in prison.
that's right. Um, you're gonna
You can't let them go because they're going to do the same thing again.
you're gonna pay money in other facets that will be pertaining exactly to those crimes and stuff. So why not just pay the $15-20 a day to keep the crap behind bars? And and yes, there's people locked up in prison that are innocent or
Yep.
that has been bring back the public gallows. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, that'll kind of put a slowdown in it because people will say, "Oh hell, I'm not doing that."
Yeah, they mean business.
Yeah, and so you 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 make an example out of some of them, and some of the others are going to take notice. Maybe not all, maybe because some of them's just crazy. They don't care. You know, some of them's looking for that very type of punishment, as Fish was. And I do wholeheartedly believe that he wanted to die. Oh, excuse me, y'all. So his outcome, he had fun on the way, according to him, and then he got his rocks off in the end.
I think he kind of wanted to get caught, to be honest with you.
Reading up some of the police reports and things that I did, yeah, I do too. He was real sloppy in a lot of the things that he done,
Yep.
and you know, going back to those areas where he abducted these children and stuff like that, returning to the scene of the crime, if you will, and he did that several times. and abducted people right there where he was staying and stuff like that. So I agree with you, Michael. He was working on getting caught. He, you know,
I mean, they're looking for the gray man. You know, you look just like the gray man. You're the gray man itself.
right.
You're gonna
And
see. They're gonna notice you.
and if they had listened to the 3-year-old kid, they would have caught him a whole lot sooner. There was but they couldn't make heads or tails of what the kid was talking about. But
Yeah.
so the Invisible Man, and so again, you got to listen to the kids, and
Kids are smart.
yes, they are, and a kid is going to say exactly what he thinks. I mean, it never fails. So if people they need to back up and listen a little bit, and so well, Michael, it's 8:05. You want to keep talking about some of this, or you want to pack it in? What you want to do?
Well, we got to talk about the con too, real quick.
That's true. That's true. Let's do that. That's a little bit happier side to things.
Happier subject,
Yeah. Um,
fun subject.
so, Deep South Fair Comic Con, Michael. When is it, sir?
August 8th and 9th at the Enterprise, Alabama Civic Center.
So, how do you remember what the dates are?
Because that was the same dates that the Charles Manson murders happened.
It's funny how that works out, but yeah,
It just happened to be a coincidence that I just happened to see it one day while we was on here talking, and I said, "That's the same days." And I think it was the night, and that was actually the nights we was talking about it.
Yep. And we mentioned it to Blaine because Blaine was on there, and he's like, "Damn if it ain't."
Yeah, he said, "I didn't even realize that."
So, at the con, we are needing, and I say needing, we're inviting in people, vendors. We still got a few spots on the inside. We got spots on the outside. Need some food trucks. Cosplayers. Y'all go to the website and sign up. We need all those masked people, if you will.
It ain't got to be a horror cosplay costume. It can be anything, as long as it's PG-13.
Yeah, we don't.
That's the only thing we ask.
Yeah, we don't need nothing flopping out. And so y'all can go over to the website and click on the vendor link there, and let me put up the website, which is pretty simple. Y'all hear my little chicks?
It's nature.
It's nature. Absolutely. Hey. All right. There's the website. Y'all go to deepsouthfaircomiccon.com and click on the buy tickets first. That's the first thing. Buy some tickets.
Yeah, and they're cheaper this year.
That's right. They're $8 online. Ben, are you listening? $10 at the door. All right. We got something going on in there we need to show.
Somebody talking about Steamboat or something.
Cheap viewers. Cheap viewers are free.
That's right.
So, all right. Now, we got some guests coming to Deep South Fair Comic Con. Do you remember what they are, Michael?
Well, you got Miss Letriana Brown, Matt Brown coming.
That's right.
Gwen Jones will be here. Richard and Colleen Johnson. Y'all got to stop by and see them. They got some good stuff there on their table. Really good people to talk to. Jatim Patel, the Redneck Raja. We had him
And
on
we,
here last week.
yeah, that was the funniest thing. But the dude during the podcast stopped at D&D Steakhouse and got him a steak.
Yep.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
had people there waiting for him to get done so they could talk to him.
yeah. So yeah, he's a local celebrity. He's going to have an owl, so you guys come out and talk to him. He'll
Might
let
have
you.
a snake.
He might or 10. Um, now this fella,
He's been on our show also.
that's right. Robert is a fantastic guy. He has, kind of become one of our good friends, and um, he's just a great guy. But he is from Rob Zombie's movie House of a Thousand Corpses. He played Rufus, right?
Right.
And you know, y'all, this guy is 6'10" and wears a 17 shoe or boot.
I was just finna
Um,
say we might have to bring us a little step ladder to take a picture.
I know that's right. Just think about it. We're gonna kick you in the butt. That's a big old foot to be put in your butt.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now Robert, he's coming. So y'all come, get your tickets. Y'all go and get some merchandise from him, autographs. He'll write it wherever you want it.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure he would.
absolutely, pull your shirt off, write it across your back. That'd be
Yeah.
something. That'd be something we'd do in us bullies in high school. you know.
If it was a
But anyway,
tattoo convention, you could get it tattooed on you,
that's right.
but it
So
ain't. So just
no,
get it, and then take it somewhere and have it do it.
that's right. So this man right here, Keith Age, the rock and roll ghost hunter, that he has become one of my best friends. He
Yeah,
he
he
and
is a
I,
great fella.
yeah, he and I talk a couple 3 times a week. This morning on the way to work, he was texting me, and then I had to call him. I was like, okay, what's up? He said, call please. So well, it wasn't this morning; it was yesterday morning. I'm sorry. And so yeah, he's a good guy. He's going to be there, and y'all need to come ask him some questions about his ghost hunting and his musical career. The man has played. I'm not going to say who. So Keith, if you're listening, I'm not going to, put
Spoil it.
that out there. But anyway, he has played with some big people. So y'all come see Keith Age. He is going to be sitting um, right next to a fella that we had last year. We didn't think he was going to be able to come this year, but because he was going to go to Scotland and do some tours.
Would have been
So
fun.
I know we were Teresa and I were trying to figure out ways to go, you know, and I sent him a text message and said, Ken Gerhard, do we get a discount, man, if we show up at your tour?
Right.
so, but so Ken Gerhard's going to be there. He was right over there by Key. Um, y'all go talk to this guy. He is a big cryptid guy. He's been on everything cryptid on TV, History Channel, just all sorts of things. And he is one of the leading people in the cryptid, and go ask him to tell you what a chupacabra is, and when ask him about his investigation of Loch Ness.
He was just on a show not long ago, wasn't
Yes, I can't remember what the show is, Michael. I was trying to, and I knew you were going to bring that up. I can't remember,
it?
and
I
I
just
didn't.
remember that.
Yeah, I didn't write it down. But so y'all come see him, Ken Gerhardt, and then don't forget Blaine Rohan.
Yep.
He's a great guy. He didn't get to come last year, so we brought him back this year. Empath medium, shaman, just all around nice guy. And
give him a good big hug.
that's right, a bear hug, a Blaine bear hug. So
Yep.
y'all go see him. And then, of course, Miss Letriana Terry Brown. She's from a show called Repossessed. It's on History
Hulu.
Channel and
Hulu.
Hulu, right? Um, you go talk to her. She's a big hugger. Um,
Sweet lady.
Yes. Oh my God, beautiful soul. Um, she she does. She's going to be doing readings. She's going to have haunted objects, things of that nature. Um, so
We had some weird things happen with that last year.
yes, we did. Yep. Um, so y'all come out see Litriana. She is a beautiful soul. Also, and I don't have her name on here, Miss Gwen Johns. Y'all come see her. She's the same way. She is a beautiful, beautiful soul. And I say that like they're old, but they're not old. That's um, but they're beautiful people, and so they're very, very learned in their craft. Um, y'all go to when you're not watching the Web Radio Network and the show's there, go over to All Access TV and tell Gwen we sent y'all over there. Um, watch some of their shows. Um,
They're always
yeah,
busy.
always, and Blaine's on some of their shows over there as well. Y'all go tell them hey from us. Um, and we do ring into their show a little bit when we can. Um, I have other shows on the network that I have to produce, and a lot of times I'm producing whenever their shows are on. So I may get to poke my head in, if you will, and say hello,
Yeah,
but I
that's
don't
what
get.
I try to get in when I can.
Yeah, and so, but y'all go over to All Access TV and tell them that Stan and Michael said hey.
That's right.
Um, and then of course, we spoke about Richard and Colleen Johnson. Ethereal voices, paranormal, EVP. They're oh my God, they're great people, and
Definitely.
they're going to have paranormal equipment at this con. And tell you what, Richard is crazy, just about as crazy as Jatine. So y'all go, y'all go talk to Richard, and
And
I'm
most of the stuff he's got on this table, he's made himself. Am
that's
I
right,
right?
that's
Yeah.
right, and I've got. I thought I had it here, but it may be in the bag over there. Um, a REM pod that he built for us, clown's head, and
It freaks
that's
everybody out.
yes, it does, and my eyes light up, man.
It
But
freaks them out just looking at it. But when it goes off and it's dark or something, they really freak out.
yeah, we used that at Cahaba when we were there, and all those people they were like, and it was pretty cool.
A lot
But
of people got a fear of clowns, and when you see that clown face, you're like, wait,
exactly, exactly, and so we're going to have, as you said earlier, Michael and Destiny Fox.
Yep.
Um, they're great people, really, really good friends of ours. They've been with us since the first con. Um, this is our fifth year, and their team, Fox Paranormal, is just outstanding. Um, and one of the guys in our chat, Richard, or Charles rather, B. Jackson, he is real good friends with them. Um, and I think maybe he's part of their team as well. Charles got to go to the battleship with us just 2
2
years ago.
years ago.
Yeah. And I got to meet Charles. He is a fantastic guy. And I hope Charles gets to come to the con. Um, I'd like to see him again. And, Charles, if you're still listening, sir, we'll let you know the dates of the next battleship. I'm working on that. So
Y'all, they even got remarried at the con 2 years ago.
they did remarried. Remarried?
Yeah.
Remarried.
Renewed their vows.
Renewed their vows. I was going to say remarried sounds like it
Yeah.
didn't take the first time.
I know, right?
But no, they're beautiful people, and we just think the world of them. We really do. And so, did we miss anybody?
Mm, yeah, we're going to be there. Smoke
Not
Radio.
us. Smoke Radio, absolutely. Oh, Debbie's going to be there.
Debbie
Crib.
we forgot about the Alabama Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, we did. And
Mr. Ben Bracken.
Ben's probably in his hospital bed going, "You forgot us." Sorry,
Right.
Ben. I've been up since like 3 o'clock. So, but Alabama Ghostbusters, Dothan Ashford edition division, and
they got a couple of guys coming from different states going to be there with them this year.
Illinois, New York area also.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have some fantastic stuff at this con. They're gonna be doing some fantastic stuff. They're gonna get the crowd involved in some of the stuff. You get to win some prizes. You get to be astounded by some things and bring your kids.
I was just going to say, make sure you bring your kids over to that table.
Right, 12 and under is free. Y'all come by. That's with a paying adult now. Don't just come drop your kids off. But now I say that because we had that happen.
Yeah.
So, but bring your kids out, y'all. We're gonna have something for everybody. We're gonna have. Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Sword fighting.
Yep. It's a kind of a live D&D demonstration. And speaking of D&D, in the back area of the con, there's going to be on Saturday only games, tabletop games, Magic the Gathering, D&D, Warhammer, that type of stuff.
And this is an indoor and outdoor event.
It is, and we're going to have food trucks. We're going to have other vendors outside. Right now, we're getting ready to put together a stage to be out there because I do think we're going to have some entertainment out there.
That's cool.
And Lilia
Boogyman.
Yeah. She's coming, and we're going to have workshops from Lee and Lilia and Michael Fox is doing a couple of workshops. So it's going to be a lot of stuff for people to do. And, we want people to come out and have a good time. And it's cheap at the door tickets. And, if you go online, it's $8. You spend more than that on an energy drink most of the time.
Spend more than that, go to McDonald's.
That's right. Well, shoot, every time I go to McDonald's, it's $20, $30. I mean, so
they don't have the dollar menu no more.
And I don't even like McDonald's. But yeah, everybody get y'all's tickets and come out, see the Ghostbusters, see Keith and Robert and all these guys, get your autographs. There'll be merchandise out there to buy. Go visit these vendors. These vendors are going to be set up. They got some great stuff, and we're going to have authors out there. It's just going to be an amazing event. And, we just can't really say enough about it. So Michael, what about a free ticket giveaway?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
All right. So do you want to do a question, or do you just want to give away some tickets?
I think we just give away some tickets because it don't seem like too many people, want to put in an answer when we give them an easy question.
All right. So what we're going to do is, if you, even after the show, you go and comment on our show and say, I want a ticket.
Yeah, first few comments,
Say,
about the
right.
tickets.
Yeah, just say, I want a ticket.
So
Now,
one ticket
remember,
per family.
that's right. That's exactly what I was going to say. Can't be one person load up on 4 or 5 tickets, not free tickets.
Yep.
Now, so one ticket per family, per address, free ticket.
Right.
Y'all can buy as many as you want for your address, but so y'all just go in our comments and say I want a ticket, and then we'll contact you.
How much we gonna throw up there?
Let's see. The first 10 people, that 10 households, first 10 households.
And you can't name your name can't end in Bracken.
Or Andrews.
Just kidding, folks. Just kidding.
That's right.
Inside joke.
Yeah. But or maybe there's other Brackens and stuff like that around here. But so maybe the first name can't begin
can't
with
be Ben.
or Danny or Melissa. So, but anyway, you put the comment there. I want a ticket, and send us your and add your email in there, and we will send you an email. And and that way you can get some free tickets, and go and tell your neighbors that we're giving out free tickets.
Share this video out, friends and family.
Right. And
they can get free tickets.
That's right. And then they can come and see Robert and Ben and Danny and Keith and all these people, Lee and us. They come see us. We're gonna have a little area set up over there with smoke, and y'all can come and sit down. If you tell me that y'all seen us online, you can sit down and be our guest for 5 minutes and tell everybody where you're from and that type of thing, and how much you're enjoying the con. And
yep.
But my little chickadees, our nature is
nature.
It's starting to move around a little more. But
getting bigger.
yeah, they were that big a while ago. Now they're that big. But so anyway, we're gonna have a good time. And it's coming fast. It's what, 123 days or something
5
like
months,
that.
right at 5 months.
And so
4.5, 5 months.
Yeah, it's coming. And
4 months.
It is.
Past months went by quick.
It is 121 days, 5 hours, 5 minutes, and 26 seconds. But who's counting, right?
Right. Seemed like we just got done with the last one.
Yep. And yeah, you can go check our guests out. Oh, sorry, I forgot guest. Cosplay guest, Loopy Lotus. She's going to be one of the judges for the cosplay contest. And Model Blessed is another one of those. There'll be 2 cosplay judges. And
y'all got to get. I was going to say, y'all got to get with Miss Shawana.
That's right. She will get you fixed up. And returning to Deep South Bear Comic Con, Jeremy Leonard, the Cajun demonologist. Y'all come out and see Jeremy. He was on 28 Days Haunted, Ghosts of Morgan City, and some other stuff. And
I still watch them shows.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. And so all this is, and Hampton Inn's our motel. Contact us. We can give you a code so you can get the room at a discounted price over there.
I think I might have to get one this year.
Yeah. Um, yeah,
It's a little
we're
further
gonna
than
be
5 minutes down the road.
yeah, a little bit. But now I'm gonna mention some of our sponsors. 5 Star Painting of Headland, Dothan. Miss Adrian, she's great, and you're getting ready to see some commercials on here from her. So I'm working on putting them together. And but Adela Haunted Tours, of course, our paranormal team, Web Paranormal, we're the main ones that's putting on this con.
I heard they're
The
good
web,
people.
yeah, me too. The Web Radio Network, that's our Evergreen Creative, Fire Griffith Productions. Um, so, and we are looking for more sponsors. We can work with any budget. You just let us know, and so
You can
that's
sponsor a guest.
that's right. You can sponsor the green room. You can sponsor if, t-shirts for the security or our volunteers or whatever it may be. You somebody was talking to me the other day about sponsoring Robert Mukes, and you can have more than one sponsor for a guest. So because this guest has to have airfare, guarantees and things like that. So
And if you
um,
got signs, we'll put them at the table. You know, you'll get
somewhere
you'll get your sponsorship out,
that's right.
guaranteed.
You'll have it'll be all over our stuff on social media. It'll be a part of our brand, the Deep South Bear Comic Con logos and our branding area and stuff. We have a fantastic marketing person, Teresa, my wife, um, and she can hook you up on a sponsorship package. Now, mind you, we've got some major packages in there. If you want to sponsor the whole con, we will blow it up for you. But you're going to have to get it in there pretty quick because the con's coming in 121 days. And we have certain things that we have to do for those sponsorships. And you can go online and see the sponsorships. And if you have any questions, just send us an email. We will answer those questions and let you know we can custom build some things. We can fit any budget. So y'all reach out, and because it's going to be a great event. And so, well, Michael, anything else you want to say?
Hmm. Just tune in for next week's show because you don't never know what's going to be.
That's right, and I will do my best, y'all, to get the graphic out a little bit earlier. I had some little issues that I had to see about, but this, I'm gonna be off for the next 8 days, 9 days, so I'll have time. And but yeah, y'all come back next week. Um, we want to thank everybody that tuned in with us tonight. We rambled a little bit, and we got just remember, like Michael said earlier, you see something, say something. And
Exactly.
this boogeyman, if you will, or the gray man, or the moon maniac, or whatever.
Weirdo.
Yeah, weirdo. That's a big thing. Um, there's more people out there like that. So watch out
Appreciate it,
for
Charles.
um, watch out for everybody. Don't hurt to say a kind word. So just you see somebody walking past you, just say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Have a good
That
day.
type. Have a good day. Say something really nice, like "Roll Tide." Something of that nature. I knew Michael was going. um, and what is it that y'all twist out there, Michael?
Tea.
What do y'all?
Twisted tea.
What twisted tea? What sports team do you like, and what do y'all say?
We say War Eagle.
Oh, okay.
Or damn eagle.
Oh, oh, that almost hurt my ears, y'all. But we're on the same line, roll damn tide. So
And if
yeah.
if there's a subject y'all want to talk about, send us an email, leave us a message. We'll try to get to it. We got to research it first, and then we'll try to get to it. You just let us know what you want to talk about. Just having a brain fart.
I was reading what Charles said. It's all good, Charles. We're praying for y'all. It was a weird noise. Yeah. Drivers, start your engine. Oh, Michael, you're a race
That's 2
fan, aren't
weeks.
you? Michael's a race fan.
Yeah.
Me, when I was a kid, I worked with my uncles at Charlotte. I remember when it was a dirt track, and but I worked in the pits, and it was the pits. I rolled tires around, but I mean,
13 days I'll be sitting at Talladega
Talladega.
for the whole week.
He'll be indulging. You gonna send us another? You gonna dance again?
Probably. Like I said, I might do this podcast on a Wednesday night out there sitting in the
Oh
field.
Lord, oh Lord! Everybody needs to bring their beer.
I'll have one for you.
So yeah. But anyway, all right, guys, we're gonna jump off here, and um, I even got a NASCAR Christmas tree and layout. Wow, that's like in NASCAR. But anyway, we're all right. I'll be in touch with everybody for the battleship. But anyway, all right. Thanks for watching, Ben. Stay sticky. Get well, man. Get well, and y'all let me
Yep,
know if you're gonna
definitely.
do
Soon.
yeah. Y'all let me know if you're gonna do your podcast tomorrow night. I totally understand if you don't. Totally understand. So don't let it worry you. But anyway, all right, Michael, we're gonna go. We're gonna go now.
We're going to get on out of here.
Get on out of here. That's right. All right, everybody. Y'all have a blessed evening. And from Smoke, I'm Stan.
I might.
See y'all on the flip side.